The current critical issue stems from recent provisions passed by the U.S. Congress, often as part of larger must-pass legislation, like government funding bills, that fundamentally redefine what constitutes legal hemp under federal law. The original 2018 Farm Bill legalized hemp as cannabis containing no more than 0.3% Delta-9 THC by dry weight. This created a significant loophole. Manufacturers began chemically converting legal CBD, cannabidiol, from hemp into psychoactive compounds like Delta-8 and Delta-10 THC, or producing edible/light drink products that contained high total milligram doses of Delta-9 THC while still technically remaining under the 0.3% dry weight concentration limit. The new legislation seeks to close this loophole. It effectively criminalizes the vast majority of consumable hemp-derived THC products nationwide by making three major changes, often with an implementation date set 1 year after enactment. Strict milligram limit. Hemp products can contain no more than 0.4 milligrams of combined total THC, including Delta-9, THCA, and other intoxicating cannabinoids, per container. This single change immediately renders approximately 95% of current market products illegal. Total THC standard. The 0.3% threshold is being redefined to apply to total THC, Delta-9 THC and THCA combined, which is a stricter measurement than the previous Delta-9 only standard. Ban on synthesized cannabinoids. The law prohibits the sale of cannabinoids that are synthesized or manufactured outside the plant, directly targeting popular converted compounds like Delta-8 and Delta-10 THC. 2. Reasons and consequences. Reasons for the restrictions. The political and regulatory momentum behind the ban is driven by several factors. Public safety and youth access. Proponents, including lawmakers and state regulators, argue that unregulated hemp-derived products pose a significant public health risk. They cite concerns over inconsistent product testing, the presence of contaminants, and the aggressive marketing of high-dose, intoxicating edibles and vapes to young people through easily accessible channels like convenience stores and gas stations. Leveling the playing field. The legal, state-regulated cannabis industry, marijuana, strongly lobbied for the restrictions. They argued that the unregulated hemp market was undercutting their business by selling psychoactive products without the burden of strict state licensing, testing, and taxation requirements, creating an unfair competitive environment. Congressional intent. Many lawmakers claim the 2018 Farm Bill's intent was never to legalize intoxicating recreational products nationwide, but rather to promote industrial hemp and non-intoxicating CBD. The new law is seen as a course correction. Consequences of the ban. The repercussions of the new legislation are expected to be severe and widespread across multiple sectors. Economic devastation. Industry groups estimate the ban could wipe out 95% of the estimated $28 billion hemp retail market and jeopardize hundreds of thousands of jobs across farming, manufacturing, and retail sectors. Small businesses and hemp farmers, many of whom invested heavily post-2018, face existential threats. Loss of access to products. Millions of consumers who rely on these products for wellness or as a lower-dose non-alcohol alternative will lose access. This includes many CBD users, as the extremely low 0.4 milligrams total THC limit could inadvertently sweep up non-intoxicating CBD products that contain trace amounts of THC. Black market resurgence. Opponents warn that eliminating the regulated hemp market will not eradicate demand, but instead push consumers toward an unregulated black market, defeating the safety objective of the law. Advantage for state-regulated cannabis. State legal cannabis companies stand to gain significantly as the supply of intoxicating hemp products is channeled exclusively into their highly regulated, age-gated dispensary systems. 3. Prediction and solutions. Prediction. Given the political alignment, the restrictions passed with bipartisan support in the Senate, the new definition of hemp is likely to take effect 1 year after enactment, which is expected to be around late 2026. However, the subsequent year will be marked by intense legal and legislative battles. Legal challenges. The hemp industry will pursue aggressive litigation challenging the constitutionality or the interpretation of the new provisions. Reformulation and consolidation. Manufacturers will either attempt to reformulate products to meet the absurdly low 0.4 milligrams threshold which is challenging for intoxicating effects, or pivot entirely toward the state-regulated marijuana market where possible. The industry will undergo massive consolidation, with many smaller businesses failing. State action. States that previously supported the hemp market may attempt to enact state-level protections, though federal law will likely preempt them regarding interstate commerce. Solutions and path forward. The path to a stable regulated market requires a compromise that addresses public safety concerns without destroying the entire industry. Legislative fix. Science-based limits. The most immediate and critical solution is for Congress to replace the 0.4 milligrams per container limit with a higher, science-based threshold that distinguishes between intoxicating and non-intoxicating products. A milligram limit higher than 0.4 milligrams, e.g. 5 milligrams or 10 milligrams per serving, could be coupled with stricter packaging, labeling, and age-gating requirements. Federal Regulatory Framework, FDA action. Congress could grant the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, clear authority and a mandate to establish a framework specifically for hemp-derived cannabinoids in food, beverages, and supplements. This would ensure rigorous testing, manufacturing standards, and labeling transparency. Harmonize state licensing. Create a federal registry or standard that requires intoxicating hemp products to adhere to similar licensing and retail standards, e.g., age 21 plus only, regulated dispensaries stores as state legal marijuana, preventing sales in gas stations and convenience stores. This channels the products safely while preserving the market.